Hi, I'm Brendan's grandfather. My name is Rudy, and I'd like to talk about a few things on the list that Brendan asked me to talk about. One is, what's my first memory? My first memory was way back when I was still in the crib. I actually remember standing up in the crib, and it was around Christmas time. I remember the Christmas tree was all decorated, and my mother was playing songs, and the song that I liked that she was playing was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And my name is Rudolph. So she played that, and I remember being so happy listening to it, and looking at the tree, and looking at all the little reindeers that were on the tree. I really liked that song. I can even remember the back of the record had the song called, I think it was Hot Cross Buns, something like that. And I remember being very happy. That was a very good memory for me. And I don't know how old I was, but it must have been pretty young because I was still in the crib. I can remember standing up and holding the bars of the crib. So that was my very first memory. Now, who was the oldest relative that I remember? That was my grandfather. He came here from Italy and married my grandmother, and he was a very happy-go-lucky man, always laughing. They had 12 children, and he didn't speak much English. He can get through to me a little bit, but he was always making us laugh. I remember one time watching TV, and we were watching, I think it was King Kong, and he was making believe that he thought it was really, that King Kong was real because he was actually seeing it on the TV. And I was only a kid, and I actually believed him, and I kept trying to tell him, that's not real, Grandpa, that's not real. And he's going, yes it is, it's right there, he's right there on the TV. So that was the oldest person that I can remember, my grandfather. Let's see, my childhood home, we lived in Manhattan on between 103rd and 104th Street on 2nd Avenue in Manhattan. And that was, at that time, they were all apartment houses, and apartments were what they called then railroad apartments. You just had the kitchen, living room, bedroom, they went straight across. And I remember I didn't have my own room. We used to have like a little hide-a-bed that my mother used to set up for me at night. And we lived right by the street on 2nd Avenue. I remember sleeping and watching the lights of the cars go by and hearing the traffic and so forth. And that was, that's where we lived until I was 9 years old, and then we moved to the Bronx, where we moved into the projects, and I thought it was so wonderful in the projects. I had my own room, we had a lot of space, downstairs had a lot of grass, we were able to play, and you know, I stood there until I got married. Let's see. What stories have come down from my family? Well, I could tell you the stories that my grandfather used to tell me. And he told me when he was, you know, came here from Italy, he got a job working, actually building the subway system. And it was a pretty tough job. And he said one day there was an accident and somebody got killed on the job, and he quit. And he said that was it for him, no more. He also told me stories about how he used to sell fruit. He had a push cart, and he would go around selling fruit in Manhattan. at one point he had a fruit store, but unfortunately he said that it burnt down, and then he went back to selling the fruit with a push cart. And my grandmother used to tell me how, you know, they had 12 kids, and how they were so poor when all the kids were growing up, that they used to move from one apartment to another apartment. When the rent came due, they'd move. Or when the landlord, maybe it was when the landlord tried to press them on the rent, then they would move to another apartment. I mean, it sounded funny at the time, you know, hearing about it, but I guess it must have been pretty tough for them. Okay, let's see. What else? Where and when did I get married? Okay, that's a good one. I got married in 1968 to my wonderful wife, Carol. We actually met in 1963, and then I was drafted in the Army, and when I got out of the Army, we then got married. And we got married in Brooklyn. It was a catering place called the Pizza, P-I-Z-Z-A. Very nice place. It actually had the picture of the actual pizza that's in Italy on their cover. And it's no longer in business now, but I can remember it. We had a nice wedding, and I think at that time it only cost about $15 a person, where today, who knows how much it would cost for the same type of wedding. So that's, I think that's about it, and I hope this is helpful for Brendan. Thank you very much.